Hello and welcome to day 2 of our challenge. Today we are talking about how to attract the right candidates to your business when you are hiring. So grab your workbook if you haven't already and come on over with me live. I've got Kim is here. Hey Kim, I know Ben is on live. Thank you for joining us, Ben. Let me know where you're calling in from and how many employees you have, or if this is the first time you've ever done hiring before. And as you're answering questions, I'll try my best to answer them. So today we're going to talk, like I said, about how to attract the right person. And when I say attract, I mean doing a proper job of a hiring ad. So the reason why this is so important is because oftentimes people don't realize that the days where you could just put an ad out on Indeed and you'd get 100 applicants are long gone, okay? We are living through one of the toughest times to hire that we've probably seen in the last 10 years. So it's definitely been an interesting time. And what I am finding with my clients is we have to do a better job of actually treating the hiring ad as an advertisement, okay? In other words, the mission of your hiring ad is to make people crave working for you, right? Thanks for coming on over, Stephen. It's great to see you. One of the things I'm finding is, again, when we don't treat this as an actual advertisement, we've kind of like let all of our marketing magic just drop out of our heads and treat it as though they are choosing us, we are choosing them as opposed to them choosing us. So the purpose of your hiring ad is to make the potential employee choose you, right? So we have to put a lot of reasons into that ad of why they would want to choose you. So think about things like your core values, what really sets you apart, your unique selling proposition. That's something good to put in there. Obviously, compensation should be fair, if not competitive, right, with other people in your area. And also talking about your company culture in that hiring ad, because these days we're seeing a lot of people jumping away from companies that are paying them a decent salary to go work somewhere else, not because they don't like their job, but because they don't like their boss. All right, so I'm going to talk today about how you can actually put your best foot forward in a hiring ad, but I am curious about what type of roles you're hiring for right now. So I know, Stephen, you mentioned you guys are doing some hiring through LinkedIn. What roles are you hiring for? Same with you, Steve or Kim. I'm interested in hearing what first or next employee you're looking to hire for. So go ahead and drop that in the chat below so I know what you're looking for. So I mentioned making them crave working for you. Let me talk about what I mean by that. I'm basically talking about turning your ad for hiring into an actual advertisement, applying the same marketing principles you were as though you were trying to attract a client by really putting your best foot forward and showing off the things that make you different than somewhere else they could go work and have the same role. Excuse me, as I said yesterday, I'm still getting over a cough, so you'll have to forgive me if I'm coughing. Thank you so much. Okay, so the first thing to think with is not everybody is actively looking for a new job right now, but that doesn't mean that they won't click on your ad and actually apply if you make it seem attractive enough. A lot of people are, too scared to leave the comfortable position they're in now. But if they saw something better, they actually would apply and come work for you instead. So I'm not saying that you should necessarily go around trying to rip off other people's employees, but just recognize that oftentimes the best candidates are not sitting around at home on unemployment, right? The best candidates are people who are willing to work and willing to show up and give their best. And oftentimes those people are already employed. So take a look around you at people who maybe already have a job, but you would love to have them come work for you. Hire for that mindset and the culture fit first. You can always train somebody on the skill sets that they need. It's a lot harder to train them on the mindset and the culture fit that you want. Okay, those are much harder to build into somebody. So put that in the top of your ad as well. When you're putting your hiring ad together, the headline needs to be really catchy, and the very first couple of sentences should not be a filtration of what you want, but instead a better filtration of what they want from you. Okay, so you really need to start putting that first at the top of your ad of what kind of things you have that they would want, and really looking at attracting them, not filtering them. I'd much rather, with any hiring ad I'm placing right now, I'd much rather get 100 applications from people who may or may not qualify than get only 2 or 3 from people who are highly qualified, because out of those 100, I'm much more likely to find somebody who is a perfect fit than of the 2 or 3 candidates who thought they were qualified. So as I said, the first thing you want to do is make a really attention-grabbing headline that really piques curiosity. I've used jokes at the top of the hiring ad, obviously ones that were appropriate to the industry we were looking to hire into. You can ask questions, etc., like, would you like to work for a high energy, very outgoing and friendly group of people, right? These are the types of questions you want to put in the headline of your hiring ad, even on Indeed. Also, like I said, do enough research in your local area that you know what a competitive salary or wage is. If you're not even in the same ballpark, people are not going to even consider your ad, no matter how good it is, right? So you definitely want to be considering paying a living wage to your employees. And if you can't possibly swing that, then at least being competitive in the industry. Next, I would recommend listing out specific job duties and specific skills that the person needs to have, but put them underneath the questions and the statements around the culture fit that you're looking for. Because again, people will tend to filter themselves out if you put the job duties at the top, and you might end up filtering out some of the best candidates. I've again and again seen it where the best candidates ended up being the people who were a little bit nervous and didn't quite feel like they fit all of the job duties and all of the skill sets that you listed. And so they almost didn't even apply for the job because it was too filtered, right? So I'd rather have somebody who's missing a couple skill sets, which I can quickly train them using on-the-job training, but they have the attitude, they have the mindset, they have a great culture fit for my business. And then lastly, close your ad out with a direct call to action, telling the person exactly what you want them to do if they're applying for this position. Maybe there's a specific person in your company that you want them to reach out to, or maybe there is a specific action you want them to take, like you want a cover letter with the resume, etc. So make sure you're including that information at the bottom of the ad, because oftentimes people will read the first few lines, scroll down to the bottom, and read the last line. This is just the psychology of how people read ads. So make sure that that last line includes the call to action, or what action you want them to take if they're going to apply. Now, I do want to cover today just a couple of things regarding what I have found to be successful in terms of using social media to acquire an employee, because I've found that Indeed is just becoming a very cluttered space. They've really limited the way you can post a job there. It's very difficult to make your ad stand out using Indeed. So I have started to use social media more and more to help my clients do hiring. And what I'm finding there is that there is, very similarly to a Facebook ad funnel, there is actually a hiring funnel. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see this. So the first thing you'll want to look at if you're going to be using social media to hire for your business is take a look at what audience you want to see this post or this ad. Particularly, you want to obviously limit it geographically to the area that you want to be hiring in if you're an offline business. But even if you're an online business and you don't care geographically where they are, you still want to add a couple of things to the audience that you're showing this ad to. For instance, do you want your existing clients or existing customers to know that you're doing this hiring ad? If not, you can exclude them. I don't know if you know that, but you can actually exclude them from the ad so that they won't see it. If you don't care, then I do recommend showing it to them, because some of the best hires I've made in my own business, and also some of the easiest, most wonderful people to work with that my clients have hired in their business, have come from existing patients, existing clients, existing customers. Excuse me. So again, telling your client base, telling your audience on social media that you are hiring is a great strategy, because those people already know, like, and trust you. Oftentimes, they're already advocates for your products or services. They're great at talking about them because they know what it does for you. So these can sometimes be your best hires. Now, every once in a while, you'll have that one client or that one customer who you really don't want them to apply. So when that happens, I'll talk tomorrow a little bit about how we deal with that when we're filtering out toxic personalities. But for today, suffice to say, one of the audiences or the recruiting pools that you want to use for your business are definitely your top customers or your top patients or top clients. So letting them know on social media that you are hiring and how to go about applying if they're interested. The next thing is how you structure that post. So again, remember, at the top, we want some kind of catchy headline. I do recommend going on to canva.com or some other like Adobe and creating a cute little hiring graphic that says we're hiring, and maybe some of the qualities of what you're looking for or the title of the position you're trying to fill. And then use that caption on Facebook, Instagram, use the caption on LinkedIn if you're doing that like Steven is, to actually outline what the job description for this position is and what type of person you're looking for. Don't make these hiring ads super long. I would say if you're going on past like 4 or 5 paragraphs, you're definitely making it too long, and each paragraph should have no more than 2 or 3 lines. And when I say 2 or 3 lines, that could be one sentence. It's a bit of a run-on sentence, but it could be one sentence or 1 to 2 sentences, but keep them very short. So the readability of your ad is key, and just the aesthetics of it in general. Remember, you are putting together an actual ad just like you would with clients. So you want to make this look very attractive, and that's going to help find the best person. The best candidates are going to be attracted to an attractive brand, right? Putting your best foot forward. If you are placing this ad on any kind of social media platform, I do not recommend including what the compensation is, but instead just say, please apply for more details. What I did was I went ahead and I used an application form, a digital application form using Typeform. I highly recommend typeform.com. They're a wonderful platform for creating any kind of form. And it was possible for me to not only capture contact information, the person's name, ask them different questions, depending on their answers, ask them further secondary questions right there in the application form, and also have them upload a copy of their resume with a cover letter. So Typeform is wonderful for that. I highly recommend it. If you're already a member of the Inner Circle or my Business Lounge, if you're already a paid member of this group, then I will absolutely build it in Typeform for you, so you don't have to have your own Typeform account. If you do want to create your own Typeform account, I think they're at about $35 a month right now. It's a wonderful platform. So have a digital application form that the person can just fill out online right there. And then once you have their contact information, I also recommend using video to further filter out the people that you just don't even want to interview. So that looks like you're nailing down who your audience is and really only showing your post, your hiring post or your hiring ad, if you're actually running an ad, to the right people, right? Making that post really beautiful, have a nice design, putting a really great header at the top, right? And then including the job description in the post, but not the compensation. You can have the compensation over in the application form if you want to give people kind of a ballpark range of what they're looking at. That will encourage them to apply if they're interested and help them self-filter if they're not. and then using a digital application form that gets all the information that you need from them to really understand if this person is going to be worth calling in for a job interview. And then if you're hiring remotely and this is not someone who you need to actually sit down with face to face, then I do recommend using something like Video Ask to ask them a question and make them record their answer on video. I did this recently when I was hiring for my client success role. And it was very successful. One of the things that we always are challenged by when we're trying to hire remotely, right, like hiring a virtual assistant or anything like that, is EQ, right? It's hard to understand the emotional state of the person. You don't really get to see how they talk and how they vibe really on paper. So that's really the downfall of doing any kind of application form when you're hiring remotely. So I do recommend using Video Ask. Excuse me, guys. I wanted to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to just stop my screen here for a second and reshare so you can see my Video Ask example here. There we go. Hopefully you guys can see that. Yeah. Okay, good. So what Video Ask is it's basically a way for you to record a video that asks a question and then have people need to record an answer. Okay. So for me, I just asked the question of when I was hiring for my client success role, what I wanted more than anything else was somebody who was coachable. I wanted somebody who was going to take what I taught and do it exactly, not try to alter it, not try to add their own personality into it, but just be very willing to be coachable and learn to coach exactly the way I do it, because what I have is successful and I didn't want somebody to come in and bring their own style of coaching. For this role in particular, I just wanted somebody who's going to treat my clients exactly the way I would have treated them. So that was very important to me in that role. So what I did was I recorded a video of me saying that very concisely and then asked them to prove to me that they were that person. So it's a little bit of a challenge. It makes the person start to have to talk. They don't have an opportunity to prepare for this. So it really kind of catches them off guard, which is what we want to do in the hiring process. Is we don't want to give them a ton of time to prepare so that they can go lie about it, right? We want them to actually have to step out of their shell and start talking. This is definitely a great idea if you're hiring for a position that needs a real extrovert, like if you were hiring for a receptionist. If you're not hiring for an extroverted position, I wouldn't put your candidate through this, but I just wanted to put it out there as one more example of how you can use video and use social media to do hiring in a way that's very, very powerful. Okay. That's all I have to share with you guys today. I hope that was helpful. Please go ahead and put together your hiring ad, and you can feel free to email it to me. In fact, I will put my email up here. Let me create a quick banner so you guys can see what my email address is. And go ahead and just email me your hiring ad if you want, the text of it, and I will give you as many pointers as you like. And that is your homework assignment for today. For today, which is day 2 of the challenge, I want you to put together your hiring ad and send it to me for feedback, okay? My team and I will be giving feedback inside the Facebook group as of tomorrow. Now, last thing before we go, before I go cough again, I did want to announce that the winner of yesterday's homework challenge is Brianna. Brianna Johnson was wonderful. She went ahead and shared her takeaway from yesterday's training on social media. She shared it on Instagram and also on Facebook. That was very much appreciated. Thank you for promoting the challenge for us, Bree, and you are the winner of yesterday's $497 prize. We're going to be sending you a template of a job description manual, which you can use for your own employee, or since you're actually an HR manager, you can certainly revamp it if you want and share it in your own business. I do not mind at all. Feel free to rip it off from me. All right. Thank you so much again, Bree, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.